So Sam, there's been quite a few videos being made about Nina Turner. I mean, I'm starting to feel bad for Nina Turner. It's like no one's on her side. And at the end of this story, we're going to talk about a big endorsement, which is probably not a shock to anyone. But yeah, I mean, Kyle and Krystal seem to be two who are on her side. You watched a little bit of their interview with Nina Turner but you watched it through getting to know her recently, so I don't know her name yet. Sabby Sabs video, who was also on Jimmy Dore, and of course Jimmy Dore has done some pretty interesting YouTube style exposés on Nina Turner, if you ask me. But yeah, I'm starting to feel bad for her. I mean, I don't know, like on the online left, at least she barely has any supporters. Maybe like the Humanist Report. Yeah, I can't think of anybody else.
David Pachman, Humanist Reports, and this type of, like, I would call them, I don't know what they are. Like, they're not left, they're not right. They're just goody two shoes. Those guys love her, and they have bigger audience overall. I don't know, that whole TYT, which I guess she works for. I don't know.
When that happened, when Nina Turner joined TYT, did I not tell you she's just going to make a few videos here and there? I have some good insights when it comes to these things.
No, it's true. I admit. You could
Anybody could have guessed that.
Like the back of your but yeah, man, I don't feel sorry for her because I don't like her style of politics. I feel like her style of politics, to be honest, forget about policies, which are very important, but also in my view, a style and that type of thing matters. She's somebody who very much leans into identity politics. She talks. I think that's the feeling this time around. I definitely surmised that the reason why I generally don't like her, which is besides of course the policy things she supports are good. Otherwise, we wouldn't be talking about
yeah, exactly,
it and stuff. Yeah. She was the right hand figure of Bernie Sanders, and she used to be very fiery and very positive. But I'm sorry, but it's very preachery and churchy type of tone. And the interview with Krystal, Kyle and friends and Yogi Bear and all the other friends was just it was just like they want us to lose hope, but if we come together as a community, and if we, what they want you to not vote, and they want you to tune out. And it's so presumptuous to just presume they're tuning out. They are going the way of nihilism because they're not supporting me.
Yeah,
so they
exactly.
Must be nihilists and tuning. Or not that nihilism is necessarily bad philosophically speaking, but the colloquial term. So this idea of weak people come together and the power will come, and then we can fight back against the system. And I'm sorry, but yeah, this is just, there is like, it's too preachy. It's too same problem I have a lot of times, to be honest, with Chris Hedges. But Chris Hedges is no way near as Chris Hedges is a far more eloquent and articulate talker. But I get the same sort of thing, much stronger with her. But check out that interview, and I saw a bit of her interview on another show, which I think you saw that too, right?
Oh, the radio show one?
Yeah, the Breakfast Club.
Yeah.
Yeah. So who's doing her?
Hey, but actually, hold on.
Who's doing her? Well, let's talk about.
I mean,
what the hell were?
I don't know. Is that how you connect with working class people? I don't know. Maybe we're so out of touch. That's how you
connect. And you don't have enough money for proper sleep. You wear a net around your arms, or it was the weirdest dress choice I've ever seen in my life. I mean, it was up there with some of Krystal Ball's sort of dress choices. Just Jesus Christ.
I don't know
where and Kyle.
Yeah. Well, Kyle, at least
Kyle
he's
and
just wearing
Krystal.
what he has from the 90s, but they look like they go and actually like actively buy these clothes from, I
Yeah,
don't know what, from like some antique shop or something. Like, order these
some.
off eBay. I don't know where you would even find the stuff. But in all seriousness,
Uh,
though, like for instance, the people who watched that interview, who were the audience of that interview and that radio show, they were very supportive of Nina Turner. I took a quick look in the comment section, and one of them was even positive about the fact that she sounds like a preacher. So she definitely has some support there. And even going back to what we were talking about before, can you hear me well? I keep on like hearing like tick tick in my ears, like different noises. But you can hear
no,
me
I can
well?
hear you well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, I think
it's
it's my headphones. I think they're broken. No, it has nothing to do with you. But yeah, I mean, I would still vote if I was, if I
yeah,
could vote
sure.
for Nia Turner, I would 100% vote. But I would just be like, doesn't seem like what you're proposing and what you're suggesting is gonna changed and add up to much, given what we've seen with the limitations of quote unquote people who are part of the squad and who she wants to be part of, who are not even endorsing her for any. But I mean, I feel like some of my like not anger but like reaction towards Nina Turner is not her fault, because it's not her fault that so many people think that she's the second coming of Jesus and she's gonna solve everything. That's other people who have kind of developed that narrative. So like parts of her that pissed me off, it's not her fault that others see her, okay, Nina Turner is about to win and single-handedly, I don't know, do what. So I guess just trying to be a bit fair here.
It
What do you
is.
make of that?
I think it is her fault that she suddenly during pretty much it was a very small it's a very small congressional race. She the first time around, it was her fault that she watered down her rhetoric immediately.
Mm-hmm.
She has defended the squad. She has just attacked. She's just, I mean, the tweet that Jimmy Dore responded to,
Mm-hmm.
which was, what was it? Oh, GOP doesn't want Congresswoman Turner in.
Yeah.
It's just like, she's responsible for her presentation, and she's responsible for the way she talks, which I guess some people like, some people don't like.
Yeah.
So that's just more of a stylistic difference. But she's
Yeah.
responsible for the fact that she decided to go the squad route, which is not necessarily like corporate Democrat, but it's a more mild than what she used to be.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, we have a great article, which I think is just
Yeah.
shows what is her predicament right now.
We'll get into that. Yeah, and I agree with all that. I just feel like some people also added to that, I guess, like TYT and others, which shouldn't be surprising, that when you just listen for a second
Yeah,
and
of
you don't
course.
pay attention, you honestly get the impression that Nina Turner is running for president right now. And sometimes we forget that she's only running in the primary right now, like this poor lady. So many
No, it's
obstacles. I mean, everybody has these obstacles, but
apparently it's a pretty sure seat for the Democrats to win.
okay.
And
So the primary is the main battle.
yeah, yeah, and man, I do agree. I mean, there is some of the nonsense in the Krystal, Kyle, and Yogi and Friends interview. It was just, I mean, there is one bit where, okay, like I think there needs to be a governmental intervention in the use of analogies.
I swear.
Okay, not like it. It should be regulated.
Kyle is ruining it for
licensed.
everyone.
Kyle and Jordan Peters, they're just ruining analogies and animals, and like I mean, it's there is one bit where she's like, yeah, they want us to not hope and tune out, but the real thing is to fight and stuff, to fight by voting for me, of course.
Yeah.
Other ways of fighting, not so, but and all that. And then Kyle is like, yeah, this is just like, all the great men in sports, just like, Michael Jordan, Tiger Woods. Michael Jordan had a flu when he had that great preferred one of his, I don't know. Tiger Woods had a broken leg. And these great men, it was almost like odds being against them was a motivation for them. What the fuck are you talking about? What is this? What, like, the working classes should all come together and like should have a Michael Jordan spirit? I don't know what. Yeah, but certainly analogies and simile, all of it is being ruined by these people. I mean, it's just.
I mean, Kyle has a few funny ones, and I really like, the Vanguard guys and everybody. They're so on, on Kyle, and they keep on saying, you can so tell what he's gonna. He's so on his case. Sorry, and they're like, you know exactly what Kyle is gonna say next. And I feel like to an extent you can say that about everyone, but Kyle, man, he like professionally, he's in such a funny spot, because sometimes like the Vanguard video was a bit of an exaggeration too, right? The headline read that he's bleeding, bleeding subscribers. Come on, he nearly has he's 30,000 short of 1 million. I know he's been stuck, so he's plateaued, and he lost 2,000 subscribers. That's like the equivalent of us literally losing 2 subscribers, pretty much. So like, let's pump the brakes a bit. Like, he's actually still doing better than we make it seem. Like his views, his videos still do decent. But yeah, the guy has just plateaued in a funny way, like professionally, and like personally, he just looks like he's stuck in the 90s. So he's just like a funny thing. And they keep on telling him should do more lives and interact more with your audience. I just feel like it's not in Kyle to like be able to interact with his audience the same way that Vanguard and others are able to do, it seems like. So not everything works for everyone, but
yeah, I mean, his show is okay. I mean, I haven't seen his show in a year or two, but it was pretty good, I guess. And
honestly,
it's just the analogy, this analogy,
sure.
Man. And then Nina Turner's face is smiling, and yes,
yeah,
Tiger Woods, Michael. I mean, it's just these are the people who make fun of Republicans, which should be made fun of. Because they argue that economy of a country is like a household, like you have to be careful how much you spend, so at the end of the month, I mean, which is a ridiculous argument. Economy of a country is nothing like a household. Like, this is like ludicrous. So I mean, it's just so funny. And Michael Jordan and Tiger Woods, two of the biggest assholes
that's the thing
sports industry has ever seen. Like, Michael Jordan, somebody who held grudges like until he's like, he's the most successful man, is still trying to get back at somebody in high school, like, and Tiger Woods, known cheater, and I remember some of his tweets about women being extremely in poor taste, shall we say. So
no, but
it's so funny.
No, but honestly, like, even just that, this made me think about it again. This is again another example, though, of them building up Nina Turner into, something that she's not. Where is the evidence that she's like the Michael Jordan? If you're making that argument,
Michael Jordan, that's true.
If you're making the argument about Bernie, when Bernie in 2020, he didn't go all the way. Now, Kyle's analogy would have made more sense. Bernie, this is the time where, you might be friends with Biden. You might think he's this and that, but, this is the time to double down. But no, Nina Turner, I wish people spoke like that about us, We would think that our audience is so much bigger or something.
Yeah, like, it would be weird if people start. It would be like, what, why? I don't know. They would be running a scheme or something. I wouldn't feel comfortable. But yeah, man, it's we try to be like Tiger Woods and Michael Jordan is all I can say. Have that spirit, guys. We can do it. If you dream it, you can do it. What was that old? If you will it, you can do it, or some shit like that. Become your fear. Raz Al Ghul.
But okay, before moving on to the Daily Beast article, is there you watched the part Sabby Sabs video, what she did on Krystal, Kyle and Friends and all that? So anything worth mentioning there, or on Jimmy Dore, or should we move on to the Daily Beast article?
No, that's a good point. Yeah, she did. Her main point watch the video, of course, for sure. But her main point was that 2 points: Krystal, Kyle, and Yogi. Yogi, famously a bourgeois living in a floating ship with all his animal friends like a super bourgeois who lives off stealing sandwiches from the poor park ranger who's a public servant. So, I'm just pointing that out. Krystal, Kyle, and Yogi Bear are not like poor working class, so they don't understand what poor
That's
working
what
class
Sabby
people go
Sab was
through.
saying.
That's what Sabby said. I'm not necessarily sure. I mean, I'm a big critic of the, some of the, I get like Nixon was very poor at working class. There's just so many, like, I don't necessarily really think that's a very good positive way of going about like discussing politics. But
Yeah.
another point she was making, which was, in my view, is a far more, it's a very good point, is just that maybe there should be an increased focus on mutual aids and strike funds rather than politicians right now. And the Christian, a small example, may sort of back that up. Like, there seems to be a lack of quality people in politics, and it kind of makes sense because for 40 years politics, increasingly they don't get that much paid relative to high level, like a lawyer or a high level manager or something. So in my view, it has sort of attracted the worst of the worst, really, like the scum of the scum, people like, AOC, DeSantis, all of them. So I think maybe it's time to focus on workers and stuff, because there you still have a good pool of talent and stuff, that type of thing.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, they can, and especially with strikes or like unionization efforts, they can at least, maybe, well, strikes goes above that, but unionization efforts, at least you can see a concrete change can at least happen for the people who, if they manage to win their unionization efforts and stuff. Yeah, and the Christian Smalls guy, like, really seems like the real deal, and he's someone who looks like he's going to go quite far based on the little bit that I've seen.
Yeah, at this point, the only, in my view, the only thing that will change the politics for the better in our like sort of view of the work is pretty much solidarity and wildcat strikes on a massive scale, sort of throughout the country, throughout the states. I don't understand that not a single politician is like found at any level that talks about this, but I would just, that's the only way. So whoever supports, and whenever you have a fund, obviously that increases the workers' ability to do that. So that's, makes sense.
Okay, definitely agree with you there. But all right, Sam, should we move on to this Daily Beast article?
So today's article I bring you from the Daily Beast, which is a funny name I always found, this Daily Beast.
Oh, so, and just one little thing, we've also covered the Daily Beast paragraph on Kim Iverson, if anybody wants to go check out that video in case you hadn't. I think it's worth it. But yeah, go ahead, Sam.
It's a beast of a paragraph. That's what it is.
One hell of a paragraph.
One hell of a. Nina Turner, this is an article by Ursula Perano.
Ursula, Phoebe's sister. I didn't know that was Ursula, actually a real name.
Ursula is Ursula. I think in fairy tales there are a couple of evil Ursulas out there. I found, it's a cool name though. I like these old-fashioned names. Anyway, Nina Turner is back for a bitter rematch against Chantel Brown and quote-unquote evil money. In her 2020 speech conceding to a now Representative Chantel Brown Democrat, progressive firebrand Nina Turner didn't bow out with a cheery congratulations to her opponent. Instead, she gave a warning, quote, "I'm going to work hard to ensure something like this doesn't happen to another progressive candidate again. We didn't lose this race. Evil money manipulated and maligned this election," she said. Which is a typical, I'm sorry, but what does that even mean? Evil money manipulated and maligned? Yeah, they did advertisement and they convinced more people. Isn't that this like same type of argument that Russia gators make? Sort of that, a couple of adverts on Facebook change the.
I mean, this one is more concrete because, I mean, for sure, that there was the evil. Yeah. But then again, I mean, I feel like everyone after that race, it's as if they had just found out that, there's this problem with funding and money in races. I mean, that's the whole point why, one of the main reasons why you don't win these races, because the other side is obviously typically much better funded. So was a bit shocked with how
And
they
she
took
was,
that.
and there are two important factors. She was earning her opponent, outraising her opponent, pretty much throughout the thing, up until the last 2 weeks
Yeah.
or something, and then the turnout for the election was 30% or something like that. So I think, yeah, maybe you should look like it's a Hillary sort of situation. Maybe you have
Oh
some
man,
faults
don't
too,
bring
but
up that name. I
oh,
swear I
we can,
can't. I swear I
yeah, we
can't.
can do a video of her
No, I
later.
can't with Hillary. I mean,
Why not?
I
I, I
can't.
I am far more sympathetic to
No,
Hitler than
she's the biggest
most.
piece of shit I've ever seen. Like the stuff that she says, like just shut the fuck up. She's like the
Yeah,
least self-aware person like out there, I swear. But
she's so no. That's the thing. It's like she's clearly doesn't believe anything she says, but she's not a good actor as well. So you can tell that she doesn't believe it, and it's almost like she's winking at. It's like a 1950s comedy when they break the fourth wall, or it is
I
Hillary
think
is
she's broken
really
her
good.
own brain or something. I honestly don't think like she even understand what the hell is going going on anymore. But anyway.
Yeah, we'll get to her later. Now, now just 9 months after the nasty and nationalized primary, Turner's putting that promise to the test and running against Brown all over. In doing so, she's embarked on an uphill battle with money, outside players, and power of Brown incumbency working against her. Quote, every time I come home, it seems like there is another, quote unquote, paid for by, Turner said, referencing outside groups spending money against her. They are making up super PACs now to come at me. It's just really unbelievable. Is it
Is it
unbelievable? I don't know.
unbelievable?
You've been in politics. You've been in politics for a while. Your husband is a cop or something. I don't know. What are you, 5? Oh, it's can you believe it? They're fighting back. Jesus Christ. Yeah. Their initial primary became a case study in the rift between the moderate and progressives within the Democratic Party, and it still has a similar impact this cycle. And while Turner and Brown's last matchup wasn't long ago, their playing field has dramatically shifted in the months since. At the start of their special election primary last year, Turner was an outspoken former state senator with close ties to the progressive movement writ large. She had a massive social media following. She initially had a strong lead in fundraising, outpacing Brown, who had been a city councilor and a county Democratic Party chair. But the tables have turned since Brown cashed in her ticket to Capitol Hill. Brown's now incumbent with a record to run on and a relatively progressive voting streak. That I don't necessarily agree with that here. And membership in Congressional Progressive Caucus. Since being elected, she's voted for the bipartisan infrastructure bill and Democrats' signature social spending bill, the Build Back Better. She's a pragmatic progressive, but she's focused on taking care of Cleveland, making sure that her district has the infrastructure funding and constituent service and all this other sort of stuff that you need from a good member of Congress. And I think that's why she's going to win, said Aaron Pickrell, a Democratic strategist in Ohio. So do you want to, any?
No. I mean, it's pretty interesting and entertaining article. So if you want to continue reading.
Yeah. Brown had also voted in favor of 2022 governmental spending bill, though critics say she overstated her role in that win. In a Facebook post, Brown said she secured $7 million in funding for projects, and 7 million is another number we are going to come back to in Northeast Ohio. But the deadline for lawmakers to submit proposal for funding projects in the bill was before Brown was elected to office. That funding was instead secured by Senator Sherrod Brown, a point that Turner campaign has seized on in an attack ad against the Congresswoman. But Senator Brown, who's not related to Brown, doesn't seem to mind. On Tuesday, he endorsed Representative Brown for re-election. Representative Brown's campaign did not respond to requests for the comments on the matter. So you see, you see what she's done. She's used the similarity in name to I mean, Chantel Brown woman, I have to give it to her. She's a genuine animal. She's like one of those. She's like a Wolverine. Have you seen
Yeah.
these Wolverine videos where they just get well, this I'll stab you.
Yeah.
She's crazy.
No, quite
Yeah,
ruthless.
and she's managed to get. Yeah, she's got the endorsement of the person she's plagiarized. This is pretty impressive. Politician, you have to give it to her. This is the endorsement from the Senator Brown. Since her first day in Congress, Congresswoman woman Chantel Brown has continued her tradition of working for her constituents and our community. So, clear endorsement. Turner, by contrast,
Yeah.
remains a more outspoken. Oh my, this is going to be great. Turner, by contrast, remains a more outspoken progressive that seems destined for a spot in the so-called squad. A longtime booster of Senator Bernie Sanders, she's been critical of President Joe Biden during the 2020 election and onwards, and has been floated as a potential 2024 presidential primary contestant, potentially to challenge Biden himself. Turner declined to comment on the presidential rumors to the Daily Beast, stating only that she's focused on her current race. Yeah, I think, I don't know. Maybe you should win over one tiny area first. In 2021, Turner received endorsement from the who's who of progressive left, including Sanders and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Ayanna Pressley, Rashida Tlaib, Ilhan Omar. This time around, Sanders has publicly re-upped his support. Turner also continued to draw support from plenty of progressive groups and the Cleveland Plain Dealers, which said that Brown come across in an interview as that doesn't matter. Turner acknowledged that it is somewhat more challenging for more prominent politicians to come out against an incumbent, even if the incumbent has been in office for a short time. But Turner argued her endorsement from last cycle proved she can build a coalition. You did lose the last cycle too, so I didn't feel the need to. This is Nina Turner. I didn't feel the need to try to prove that this time, to have to do that this time, instead using my energy other places, she said. Sure. I hate endorsements too, usually, I don't know. So you see, she's not even capable of calling out people for not endorsing her. And then what, she's going to go to Congress and she's going to fight the deep state? Like what, or fight anything, frankly, fight Nancy Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi will wipe the floor with her,
Honestly,
or whoever is running Nancy Pelosi's office. I'm not sure. She's quite.
And just so funny, just a few paragraphs before, about Turner declined to comment on the presidential rumors to the Daily Beats. Again, so interesting where this comes from, where everybody's just decided that, nah, she's the one. Very interesting.
I think, it's this part is this is the cherry on top of this article. Jeff Rosnack, an Ohio Democratic strategist who worked for Senator Bernie Sanders in 2016, but has supported Brown, said he thinks Turner's decisions to lean into support from DC progressives hurt her last cycle. So I read that. It was like, oh, finally, somebody saying what you're saying, that her decision to support the squad has, damaged her. It has basically the grassroots and all that, the base are not, liking it as much. But then listen to this. Potentially turning off more moderate voters, he added, that from his own perspective, the Turner campaign has been quieter this time around. So you see, not only she managed to alienate the grassroots Jimmy Dore, I don't know, hardcore, like we should keep the progressives' feet to the fire and all that, she's also managed to alienate the moderate voters. I mean, Jesus, great. Like pretty much nobody's left in Ohio.
She's in a tough spot.
Sorry, what do you mean?
Just in general. And honestly, I think if she gets the victory, she will get the victory, but she should have honestly tried not running this time around. It was way too soon. Losing again this time is going to do big damage to her. She should have chilled and ran for something else in a few years. But what do we know?
yeah. I mean, the thing is, that's the part that,
Like honestly,
that's
she's
the
like, it's
part. I
doubling
agree
down.
with
It's
you,
just
but
too soon. It's like, it's like when you fail at doing something, and then it's like, let's say I'm going the Kyle route. But let's say you're like, play like a sport or doing something.
don't bring up
Yeah.
Michael Jordan. I swear to God, if you bring
No,
up
Michael Jordan, just very much simple. It's like you're doing something and you fail and you think that, and you're just getting like frustrated and you think if I just do it again and again and again, like it's going to work. Whereas if you just like take 5 or 10, 15 minutes, just sit down and come back, things will be better. And her is
let's
just so closely connected. Like they just finished that election and she's coming back. So it just, I feel like this is hurting her and she might do even worse this time. And now that'll be 2 big losses back to back. Yeah, honestly, maybe she should have really waited a bit.
let me give you an analogy from
I love
my
how we shit on
sports life,
analogies and
which,
then we
as you
just
know, yeah. No, this is going to be a very apt analogy based on my sport experiences. When you're playing PlayStation and you're playing FIFA, and like you already missed the choice, like the chance to tackle someone or to shoot, but you keep pressing that button. Yeah, I feel
just
yeah, very
making
good.
things worse.
We are great at analogy.
Yeah.
Analogies are us. But this is the one part of the article which be more in her favor. Brown defeated Turner in their last primary by just over 5 points. Ohio's 11th district is heavily Democrat, meaning the winner of the primary will likely win the general election.
Mhm.
Last cycle, Brown bested the district Republican nominee Laverne Gore. Laverne Gore, is he related to the Gore Vidal and the Al Gore family? Because they are a big political family in America. So let me know if anybody knows, by more than 57 points. So the difference is just 5 points. You could argue potentially because there is now, it's a more of a national election than last time, which was a special election. Maybe there is more turnout by Democrats, which could, be in her favor and all that. You never know. So
Yeah.
I mean, I thought I mentioned.
Yeah, I feel like it's just like it's a risky move with big payoff. I mean, if she won, she won. But if she loses, I think she'll get far more damage than someone would. Of course, when you lose, it's never good because you lost. But when you go, sometimes the loss can just mean a lot more. And I feel like this time, if she loses, they'll probably turn around the next day and be like, "But she can be president of the U.S."
That's probably probably. I mean, just to end it, basically, this time around, their House race is happening in tandem with all the other House races in Ohio. The state is also being swamped by an increasingly wild Senate race in which Democratic Representative Tim Ryan seems en route to win his party's nomination, while the Republican field has nearly come to blows in a debate. They almost like were like, the fighting. Yeah, in a fierce competition to attract Trump's endorsement. J.D. Vance prevailed, the awful hillbilly writer. It says, it talks about a little bit about voters being tired of politics and all that. And, so that could not be very much in her favor.
Yeah.
Because people are just tired of politics and voting.
No, tough one. I honestly, yeah, I in a way feel bad for her a little bit. Of course, some of the things she kind of has it coming her way because of the way she behaved and the other kind of messaging that she put out. But she's in a tough place. A loss here, I think, could be should in theory be quite damaging. But
as Nathan Jane Robinson said it about Elon Musk taking over Twitter and climate change, it could be the last nail in the coffin of her, to be honest, political career. And it might be for the better. She might be better at a media personality or something. Again, I highly suggest people check out her interviews. She's not even particularly well knowledgeable about these things. I don't know what was exactly her role as the right-hand woman of Bernie Sanders. I can't see she's been very effective.
But I mean, I followed the 2016 election very, 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 very closely from what I recall, although I guess maybe not closely enough because I don't remember her too much in the picture. But I mean, Bernie was so front and prominent, so maybe she went, I mean, I didn't follow like speeches of their delegates and stuff, so I guess.
Yeah.
You know.
Anyways,
But I mean, when I
but yeah,
first found out about her, I thought like she was significantly more
yeah, me
popular
too.
in general, given the belief in her.
I thought she's more significantly more powerful within the
Mm,
party or something. It's just, but just to end our segment, I thought I just update everybody on the
mhm.
latest endorsement in this race. So this is from the Hill. Biden endorses Chantal Brown against Nina Turner. So all that, all that things you did for them, and it's still, I mean, the Progressive Caucus
I
didn't
mean, the
endorse her. So
Progressive
I'm not
Caucus are not
surprised that
even only Bernie. And Bernie has Bernie endorsed her. Just like, yeah, like is that like, yeah,
according to this article, yes,
yeah,
yes, I think so. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And he still really seems to be like the only one who can like at least play ball a little bit with both.
He,
Yeah, I mean his hands are just
yeah,
whether it's because of the career he's had and like the space that he's managed to build for himself. So maybe the other progressive, the squad really aren't able to behave like Bernie does. But Bernie, as much as he disappointed a lot of us, I guess in 2020, he still seems to be if there is any hope for a quick fix, from inside the system, a quick one for something to happen, it seems like it would come from Bernie.
he's still the best of a very, very bad bunch.
They should, I hope, I mean, he's too humble, but if otherwise they should just take whatever cocktail they're giving to Trump and whatever cocktail they give to Biden and also inject him with both of these, and he'll have another 20 years that he can live. But I
I
don't think
doubt,
Bernie would
man. No,
accept it. Bernie would be like, my insurance doesn't cover this. I'm sorry.
not until every man and woman and children.
Yeah.
I think with Bernie, it might be dangerous. He's got too much energy. He's, well, yeah. Did you see him at the Amazon workers thing? He might just, his head might just, what was that Hulk enemy? I
Oh.
forget, but he had like a big brain. And I think he might just, have a bad reaction to this thing.
Yeah, I don't want any shit though. Like Bernie's too old and all that. Like, who gives a fuck?
So Biden,
Yeah.
who's sort of brought in by ventriloquists, basically every week.
I
Oh my
swear.
God! Oh, we're gonna talk about it. Biden spoke about Madeleine Albright.
Yeah.
Also, he thought he was at his granddaughter's birthday party.
All right, let's go do that then. Any final words concerning Nina Turner?
No, but she really needs to, whoever is running her sort of a wardrobe office, a costume office, whatever, because there must be, by the way, like I imagine it's a whole department involved. This sort of idiotic choice is not made by a single
By
person.
one person.
It's something, yeah, it's a committee decision that, yeah, we're gonna have a normal dress, then we're gonna add some nets and, yeah. So, maybe you can start there and we'll see. Hopefully.
Yeah,
Hopefully
Nina, Kyle, we're no longer in the 90s. We're not even early 2000s. We're 2022 now. Like, come on, someone tell them.
It's so weird because I feel like fashion has completely been liberated since like 2000s because everybody just dresses whatever they like, like people dress as like, people dress as like anime characters basically and all, and it's normal. But like this is so weird. This is specific 90s sort of. It's so weird. So yeah.
Alrighty. But okay, folks, please leave your comments, question, criticism down below. Let us know if we've missed anything, if we've overlooked anything. And yeah, we'd love to hear from you. If not, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you in our next video. Thank you.